and definitely looking forward to having a lot of fun on today's show. As you can see, got three other hosts. We'll go around as always. Beef going to be the first one to introduce. Beef, how's it going, man?
It's going good, Breaky. Busy morning with lots of stuff coming out, lots of things that we're going to be talking about here on the podcast. But mostly just excited to be here, talk some Han. It's been the first time in a little while that we've gotten to come on and actually talk about the competitive scene. So
Yep.
excited.
Yeah, it definitely is. By the way, right off the bat, too, I know it may be a little bit choppy. I do apologize for that. I am on a different setup, as you may notice, behind me and everything in a different office here. So we got the audio part of it at least. Should be good to go, and that's what matters in the end for these. With that said, we got the one and only Milk Fat, of course, going to be joining us. Milk Fat, how's it going?
Hey guys, how's it going? Little sick today, so sorry if I get any of you viewers sick from across the interwebs.
It can happen. It can happen. So let's try to make that not happen. Ace Jr., also the one and only community manager here. Ace Jr. going to
What's
be on
up,
the
guys?
show.
How's it going?
You going to be doing some freestyle today?
I mean, if you guys want it,
gotta
right? I
bring
guess
it
that's
up.
the thing I do.
Always got to bring it up. No.
Yeah, one sec. This is for Fitzgay.
Damn.
All right, let it be known.
Let it be known to Fitzgay, apparently.
What are you doing?
Is he actually tuning in?
I don't know what's going on.
Don't worry about it.
Inside. I always love the inside jokes, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, though, welcome to the Honcast Podcast. Again, obviously, what we do on here, talk about plenty of heroes in New Earth, and boys, there are plenty to talk about. It's been a little bit since we had our last podcast. Of course, we had the holidays come about, and, well, let's just say several things actually happened over the holidays. Not only the awards that we put out, the voting for that, of course, took place, and here on today's podcast, we're going to be going over those and announcing the winners for pretty much all the categories, including two that have not been actually publicly announced yet. As if you go to Honcast.com, articles were just posted on a majority of how those results ran down. So we're going to kind of go over those and kind of break those down and see what we're looking at there. But then also a lot of roster changes happened. A lot of teams changing around, a lot of roster changes. And then, of course, Psycho 9 started this last weekend with these roster changes and whatnot taking place. So there's definitely a good amount of competitive fun to be talking about when it comes down to it. So with that said, without further ado, I think it's time to... And also, there is actually something we're going to be talking about later in the podcast that when we get to it, we'll let you know what it's about. But it has something to do with Haunter Season 2 and perhaps what happens after the cycles are over. So I will definitely be breaking that down. And
It's the playoffs.
Okay, there you go. It was probably pretty obvious
Dang.
the way I hinted at that. But yes, that's actually what it is. So. Oh, there you go. Anyways, without further ado, again, so Honcast.com, this post was actually just put up here on the website. It announced pretty much, I believe, 16 of the 18 awards. I believe is what it comes down to. So I'm going to actually show you guys what I'm talking about. This was just put up, so obviously these awards coming out here. So you can definitely check it out for yourself right now if you like. But I figured it'd be fun to kind of go through here and kind of just give ones that we thought maybe stood out and pick some topics that were definitely some interesting ones. So with that said, the most entertaining team right off the bat, the team that won that, Lion Esports Club, ended up winning that one in the end. Yeah, I voted for them. I know I did. With that said, I can't say, like I said, I'm not too surprised by that. As far as entertainment goes, Super KG specifically definitely brought a lot to the board when it came to just being fun to watch. This team, though, they were not afraid to try different strategies. So kind of go across the board here. What are your thoughts on this category and whether or not you agree with the winner? Beef?
Well, I mean, this category, when you're thinking about it, you've got teams like, of course, Lions, but you've also got teams that are entertaining in a different way. You've got Stay Green, Denial, that are, of course, kind of bringing their own flair to it. But for me, I mean, Lions is the team that's consistently been that one that I am always excited to watch because you never know what's going to happen. They brought so many different strategies in over the last year. And, of course, with big playmakers like Jonas Fan and Super KGE, I just couldn't vote for anybody else.
What about you, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I voted for Lions Esports as well. You just got to give it to them. They always pick, very unique heroes. They're a lot of fun. The thing is that this was also pretty hard because one of my most entertaining teams, one of the teams that I like to watch the most when we were doing this voting was disbanded, which is Team Excellent. They also always, Pew always kind of tries to draft unique things. He's not afraid to try new things. Same with Internet Gangsters. But, like I said, they weren't available when we were doing the thing. I really like Team Excellent. I think they're very entertaining. They picked Bloodhunter, which is my favorite hero. But, obviously you got to give it to Lions. I mean, they really do it all. They'll surprise you every single time, and they'll surprise you even in things like the grand finals, which not a lot of teams would ever do.
Yeah. What about you, Ace?
For me, well, I think I made it blatant clear that I am a big Lions fan. I love watching Super KGE throw those hooks out there. Anytime Super KGE is on one of those heroes, it's just, I don't know, I get a little, little strings in my heart start playing, and I'm a happy guy. Either way, other teams that were in contention for me, I like watching Denial, to be honest. They had some cool strats that I enjoyed, including, it's always fun to watch that Tundra Parasite and see what happens from that. To be honest, in the last, even from DreamHack on, I've just been entertained by all of Han right now. It's been a lot more of a diverse scene. So props to everyone, but Lions definitely takes the cake. So.
Yeah. Real quickly, I want to actually clarify how this voting process worked, as it was kind of a little bit explained beforehand. So the community vote actually counted as, I believe, so we had 10 total votes when it came down to it. The community vote actually ended up counting as 2 votes, and then we had, behind the scene people, such as myself, Beef, Sam, and then a couple pro players and whatnot. They actually sent their votes into these categories, and they, of course, counted as 1 vote. So I'm actually planning to show you guys the results from the community as well, which is obviously definitely part of it. And a lot of people are bringing this up. Yes, Turtle Master dominated this poll, by the way, as far as the results are concerned. I guess Southeast Asia may have heard about this, and they gave it up for the boys. So
I think I had Garena post on their Facebook.
Okay, that might have something to do with it. Yeah, to say the least, they dominated. 75% of the votes actually went to them. Lion Esports Club was next in line at 16%, and then it kind of dropped off after that. So when it came down to it, they won the community side of things. But again, as far as overall, the actual award, Lion Esports Club did win the most entertaining team of the year for 2013. So definitely big congratulations to them for that. Deserving. I also want to bring up the idea of Stay Green as well. I know when we first put this out there, a lot of people were kind of questioning that. I see people doing it now. This is kind of the same thing for me. Fnatic was the same way. I think other people may have forgot about that or whatnot, but when we actually did the most entertaining team the previous year, Fnatic also wasn't on that list. And it's like, wait a second, Fnatic's the best team out there. But Fnatic was known for running more of these standard strategies that they do to win the game in the end. It may not necessarily be the most flashy, the most entertaining, but it got the job done. So if that's what you consider to be entertaining in terms of watching a team win, then yeah, I mean, I guess I could see that, and maybe you could. I could see the point that maybe they should have at least been a nominee. I do get that, but in the end, it was decided to kind of break it down to these 5 teams and to make it these 5 alone. So I don't know if you guys have any further thoughts on that situation there, but Beef, anything from you?
I mean, like you said, Stay Green, they definitely can be entertaining in their own way, but in the end, you came to kind of expect a lot of what was going to come from Stay Green. They're going to be grouping up early. They're going to be knocking down lots of towers. That they have a recipe for success, and if they're winning everything with that recipe, there's no real reason for them to deviate. For me personally, I find that less entertaining than somebody that's throwing out anything and everything they can to try to scrape by with a win. And so that's why I think that when you have so many crazy innovative picks from teams like Vietnamese Dream Team or Denial, or in this case, Lions Esports Club, they would get my vote above SG.
Yeah. Milk Fat or Ace, anything to add to that before we move on here?
I got nothing.
No.
I got nothing.
All right, good to go. With that said, okay, so let's move along here. Again, we're not going to go over every single category and kind of break it down because only have so much time. There is plenty to talk about outside of the awards as well. But with that said, I think another important one is definitely let's actually take a look at the most improved player. Was kind of an interesting one. The most improved player award. As far as the nominee list went for that, so let me actually pull it up here real quickly. We're looking at Slapped, Tankafet, Mickey, Fabelli, and Super KGE. So 5 players that definitely came through this year all of a sudden out of nowhere to an extent, and definitely had a big improvement. So definitely all those deserving. Now, this one was kind of interesting because I'm going to actually show the poll first, the results from the poll first. This is the results from the community vote poll. Super KGE actually won it pretty handily. He actually got 43% of the votes when it was all said and done as far as the most improved player. However, when the votes were all tallied up in the end, Tankafet Tankafet actually took it home of Too Much Sugar. So Tankafet taking home the Most Improved Player of the Year award as a result of his play. So, again, big congratulations to him. Beef, again, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on Tankafet taking this?
I mean, Tanka is just kind of one of those players that I remember discussing him with the guys in Vegas, actually in April, when he had just formed Yeah, and they were playing in like the Serious Business Cup or something. I'm like, who the heck is this Tankafet guy? I have no clue who this guy is. And the guys from Cole are like, oh yeah, he's like actually a decent player. Like we've seen him around, he's okay. And then all of a sudden, like 3 months later, he's a huge name. And for me, that's the definition of a guy that's gone and been known, but just improved in a short amount of time. Now he's captain of the new NK team. They're, of course, looking good, and I'm excited to see where he goes from here. But Tanka, by all means, deserves this award.
Yeah. Milkfat, what about you?
Yeah, I actually ended up voting for Zlapt myself. I kind of look at it as when I was playing competitive Hon still, I even knew who Tankafet was. He was around. He was still playing on teams. He was still, at least in the scene a little bit. He is very good. Super KGE is very good, but Super KGE was good a year ago. He was amazing a year ago. Tankafet was still amazing a year ago. But I looked at Zlapt as somebody who kind of came from the community, worked his way up through SBT, was really involved in the Han scene, and then he kind of came out, created his own team, was the captain of his own team, rallied a bunch of guys together, and ended up placing second at DreamHack when, 6 months ago, nobody even knew who he was unless he was an SBT member. This guy really went from just being a community member to a captain of, a team that placed at a huge LAN. I mean, who does that? What if you name the amount of people that have been on that main stage as captains, you hear these titan names like Swindle Melons, Fly, Slicks. But Zlapt just kind of built himself his own thing in this year, 2013. So he was my personal most improved player. I think he's awesome. I think he's a good guy. He's good for the community, and I think that he deserved it. But shout out to Tankafet. Obviously, votes show that Tankafet got it.
Well, and to clarify that, too, every player in this category actually got a vote. So, that kind of shows you that, you could really give justification to any player in this category as far as deserving of it. Ace, what about you?
Yeah, I wanted to agree with Sam on that one. I was going to bring up the same point, is that over the course of the year, you take a player who – at the start of the year wasn't really anything on the scene to competing for the title of DreamHack champion. It's pretty impressive in my opinion. And on top of that, as Sam brought up some good points, as he worked his way through SBT, he went from kind of like an internal tester to now one of the big names on the scene. So got to give props to him there. Obviously, got to show love to KGE because they went from placing fourth at those Han Tour Grand Finals to being not placing as well the DreamHack, but still being that big contender in the Han Tour cycles right now. So props to him as well. But I don't know, Tankafet, I'm not too familiar to him as a player other than watching him on his particular teams. But my vote would have gone to Zlapt. So props to all of them, though. Obviously, they play a lot better than me. So.
Yeah, they're pretty good. No, obviously, as far as my vote actually did go to Tankafet. Again, I kind of like Beef was just talking about. It was one of those cases where this was a player that I just really did not hear about, as far as the beginning of the year went. And then all of a sudden, he went to being a star player on a team filled with stars. You're looking at Keizu, Haxer, and Moomiander. That team, and Slicks, of course. The fact, it was like those four, and then, that fifth guy, who's Tankafet, I think is his name, was kind of his situation. But we clearly saw throughout Han Tour Season 2, that he had an impact, and he was definitely a big part for the success that TMSR did have while they were still around. RIP in pieces, TMSR. We'll talk about that later on, obviously. Okay, to keep things moving along, though, as far as these awards go, I think it makes sense to now go into the position awards here. So we should go over these. So the carry of the year, the most valuable carry. Chessie in the end takes it home. As far as the community votes go, so big congrats to Chessie, by the way. He did actually take the community vote. It was close though. As you can see on these results right here. He got 37%. Knox actually was in second place at 33%. And then, of course, you got these 6 nominees in total right there, as you see. But Chessie overall not only gets the community vote, but he also takes home the overall carry player of the year for 2013. So congrats to Chessie. Beef, your thoughts on that?
I mean, Chessie's just kind of one of those players that you talk about best player in the game, the community's always going to bring up Chessie. For me, it really is no surprise that he brings home the carry of the year right here. What might be a little bit of a surprise is that he actually was only playing the carry position for one LAN tournament this year. And, I mean, he played jungle for a really long time. So for him to get this award is maybe a little bit of a surprise there. But his sheer popularity, the sheer skill that he demonstrates and the way that SG's been dominating, it makes sense. He had my vote for sure.
Sam, or Milkfat, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, Chessie owns. Chessie's great. He's one of the best players in the world. He has been for a while. It just goes to show how good he is that I know we haven't gotten to it yet, but he was very close to winning another position as well. I mean, how many guys are going to win most valuable 2 positions in the game? I mean, that's just ridiculous. Yeah, he could do it all, And if he played Ganker, if he played support, who knows? He'd probably be on that list as well.
Yeah.
The guy seems like he can do anything. He is phenomenal. He is well-mannered, well-tempered. And one thing that we should also talk about is not just his skills in game, but he really actually cares about giving back. I mean, he creates all these videos, all these tutorials, all these guides. He works with people in Thailand to get them, translated into the Thai language. Like, he is one of those guys that is good and is very good and is willing to share that knowledge with the community. And so he's just overall just great guy to have around. Great player, deserves the award.
Ace, what about you?
Yeah, I got to agree with everyone else. I mean, when you think of carry, in my opinion, you got to think of the team that really closes all the time. And that's Stay Green, and that's Chessie. So, no, just reaffirm with everyone else. I think it was an excellent decision, and that's where my vote goes to.
Yeah, Chessie was an interesting. Sam was kind of bringing it up there. In fact, we actually brought in the Flex Award this year for the first time. We've done this 3 years in a row now. This is the first time we had a Flex Step Award, where meaning they played multiple positions, and obviously we'll actually go on that here in just a little bit too. But Chessie was definitely a nominee for that for good reason, and maybe he won it. Who knows? No, he did actually. He did take it. I mean, it is public, so I don't know why I'm trying to be secret about it. He also did take Flex Player of the Year, and as you said, he was actually in the running for Jungle Player of the Year as well. As of course, back in Complexity, he was a jungler, and he was known as the top jungler in the scene. So, definitely an all-around player.
For the first 6 months of this year as Stay Green, until Keizu and Slicks left, he was playing jungler.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's true.
He's crazy, man. The guy's insane. And
he was a nominee for MVP. We'll be announcing after, when we're done going over all these, who the actual most valuable player was. In just a little bit here, so you definitely want to stay tuned for that. He was on that list, so we'll see. Speaking of that, real quickly too, about the most valuable carry, it was actually very, very close, as a lot of these were. Chessie, in fact, the difference maker, they both got 4 votes, or I should say Chessie and Haxerin actually, both got 4 votes in the end, but Chessie took it because he got the community vote. And since it was a tie, he got the community vote, so he actually took the award. So congrats to Chessie, but Haxerin definitely a very close runner-up as far as most valuable carry of the year as well. So there you go for that category. As far as the next one aligned here, I think most valuable support is due. We got the one and only Z-Freak taking home this award. He had another Stay Green player, of course. Z-Freak taking it home. I can personally say I don't know if this is too surprising. It wasn't for me. No. I don't know about you guys. Beef, any thoughts on this one?
I mean, Z-Freak's the best around. I will praise Seal Kid and Sender all day long. They're both good friends of mine, and I love them. But, I mean, Z-Freak's the best around, hands down. His game sense, his warding, the way that he's able to have an impact on the game. He is, I would say, the second biggest key to Stay Green success outside of Swindle and drafting. And, he absolutely deserves this award.
Milkfat?
I mean, Z-Freak owns. The dude knows everything. The thing about Stay Green's players, I mean, Z-Freak could play so many different roles, too. The guy can play every single hero. He could play every single hero well. Just seeing him warm up, just going to all these lands with him and just watching him warm up, Z-Freak could 1v1 almost, as Swindle told me, He always wants to do that 1v1 tournament between S2 and Stay Green. But I mean, really, come on, we'll just get stopped by Z-Freak.
What's the point?
But what Kyle always says is that Z-Freak could 1v1 probably and beat 90% of the competitive players in the top 10 on tour. Like, straight up 1v1. That he is just that talented of a guy. He has that much game sense. He studies, he knows, he tries new things, he experiments. He is one of those support players that will just come out with 300 GPM in a losing situation. He'll have boots, he'll always have wards. He just knows how to do it all. And I think what separates Z-Freak from all the other supports is that he knows how and when to get farm as a support player. He knows when he can use his abilities to kill that, that jungle stack really quickly, so that by the time the carry gets back to it, it'll be back up, so he doesn't actually remove farm from anybody else. He just has a very good game sense of when and where to use his abilities and how to maximize his impact on the game, which is very difficult for a support player because, a lot of people view it as your job is to put wards up, And obviously he takes that and just really takes it to a whole new level. So Z-Freak absolutely deserves it. Phenomenal player.
Congrats, Z-Freak. Ace, what about you?
I can't argue with anyone in the fact that, Z-Freak, great support player. Want to bring some light to, it's always fun for the other players over in the running. Always liked watching support play, even though people say he's a one-trick pony on that empath. I think he plays it so well that it's almost like, I don't think he sets a new bar for that hero. And then on top of that, Seal Kid is also very amazing to watch as a support player. Being primarily a support player myself, these are the guys that I usually watch, and he's made some big plays and kind of shows how it is to be, just how it is to be a support player and really walk the line on that positioning and when you're doing all. I'm kind of getting lost up in my own talk right now, but he's great players. Well, so really, really, really high quality field of support players. Z-Freak, top notch though.
Yeah, I think in the end, this is definitely another level as far as support goes. He really showed that, as there's always been a stigma with a support player that they're just going to struggle. They're going to have a difficult time. Their GPM's going to be low. They're not going to have many items, but as long as they're warding, they're doing their job. Z-Freak showed no, he can get kills. He can get a lot of assists. He can get those steam boots very early on and be tanky as a support and not worry about dying himself. And then on top of that, he was taking care of the warding and whatnot. So yeah, no doubt, very deserving of the support player of the year. And it was more of a dominating one that he won. There was both, I believe it was Fitzke and Seal Kid actually both got a vote as well, but in the end, Z-Freak did take the rest. So that's how that one shaped up. So moving down the line here, as far as the positions go, as you can see, we got the most valuable jungler, and this is what we're just talking about. It actually ended up being a tie. Both Mynuts and Chessie both take it home. So talking about Chessie, we already kind of gave him praise. How about Mynuts, though? This guy, how about the...
They're awesome, dude. They're great. They're huge.
It never gets old. All right. So, Beef, what about your thoughts on this being a tie? And also, obviously, Mynuts and him winning it.
We kind of went into this and we're like, we see that this is a tie. We're like, all right, are we going to wait for another ballot to come in? Do we need more to happen? And for me personally, I'm like, my first inclination is I don't want this to be a tie. We should try to have somebody else vote. And then another vote comes in and it doesn't break the tie. And it's whatever, man. These guys are both really, really good. They both deserve the award. They're both going to get it right here. So Mynuts, coming out of Trademark Stay Green Europe and then into Stay Green, has played a phenomenal jungler all year long. The hyper farming hero. Something like that Tempest, Keeper of the Forest. He brings so much farm onto the team, whereas Chessie like to play more of those aggressive heroes, the Parasite, the Ophelia. Two different sides to that jungle, but they both play it phenomenally, and absolutely both of them deserve the award. Throw Riser in there too. Make it a three-way tie. That's what I say.
Riser definitely got some votes from the community. I actually got those up right now. It was interesting because Chessie actually took the community vote, which actually helped him make it a tie in the end. But both Mynuts and Hanskin, they actually tied at 66 votes, and Chessie had 80. So, this was a very close race, actually, even for the top three especially. Milk Fat, your thoughts on this?
Yeah. Obviously, I already talked about Chessie and how great he is and how much he deserves it. But Mynuts, when you watch Honcast and when you watch competitive games, you don't get to see everything, obviously. You see where the camera is, you see what everybody's talking about. And, I always thought Mynuts was a pretty solid player. Obviously he has to be. He's the, captain of a top team in the game. Now he's on Stay Green. He's obviously good. I've been lucky enough to be able to travel with this guy a lot. We've been to a lot of lands together now. And because of that, we've become close where we've actually, TMM together and played together. And man, let me tell you, the difference between watching and actually playing with him is just mind-blowing. Like his game sense and being with him on Skype and just his timing and him knowing every single mark that he needs to hit and when and where, and he has a presence everywhere. Just so knowledgeable, and I don't know. It's just, I always thought he was good, and then I was like, okay, he's just a good jungler or whatever. Chessie's the best. But actually, after playing with him and seeing him in action, holy shit, Minuts is really damn good at Han, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, so well deserved, well played by both of those guys. They both deserve it.
Ace.
Got nothing. Great players.
Nothing more to it, just great players. All right, here we are moving on to the next one. We got the most valuable suicide player of the year. Jonas and Fan actually taking it home, as you can see. So congratulations, Jonas and Fan, of course, a Lion Esports Club. Talk about entertaining player. He was definitely, I believe he was at least a nominee for that as well, but of course not taken in the end. But very deserving of this award, and obviously was a big part to Lion's success as well. This guy, he was not afraid to think outside the box, I think it's safe to say. I mean, from Succubus to Corrupted Disciple, to, of course, Grinix, to Madman he brought. I mean, just so many of these suicide heroes he made work, and made them work very well for his team. So, Jonas and Fan taking home the most valuable suicide player of 2013. Beef? You're muted, I think.
Me?
No, Beef.
I totally am.
Oh.
Gotcha. Sorry, did a little bit of typing, muted the keyboard there. This is one that I was actually a little bit... Most of these were pretty cut and dry for me. Suicide was like, I don't know, man. There's a lot of really good suicide players out there. Like, Limp is really, really good. You've got mostly Limp. Mostly Limp and Jonas and Fan. Casey's up there as well.
Casey,
but
and of course, Meander earlier on.
Yeah, of course. But I eventually had to give it to Jonas just because the thing is, it's like most valuable suicide, like the one that makes the biggest impact on the team. And Jonas makes a huge impact on that team. He's the kind of player that frequently comes out of a 1v2 situation with a solid amount of farm. He's the one that's breaking out of his lane to go gank for other lanes and set up those kills and gain that all-important momentum for the Lions Esports Club. And in the end, I mean, it was close for me, but I had to give it to Jonas.
Yep. All right. Milkfat, what about you?
As Panny would say in his rap song, Jonas and Fan is the man. He's probably one of the main reasons for Lion's success. He drops bombs like Saddam Hussein. I mean, I could go on and on. But Panny said it best. The dude owns. He deserves it.
Yeah.
I voted.
Great video.
It's the best video, man. That was the best. Almost as good as Stankface Cypher, but pretty good.
Shout out. Holla.
Yeah. Speaking of that, man, Ace Jr., what about your thoughts on this?
I don't disagree with anyone. Just want to throw in that Limp plays a damn good Kraken, and that being one of my heroes is I'm always impressed when he just comes in and, I don't know, dominates with that. So that's about it. No other insight to bring.
It's tough. This is a tough one because as far as individual skill, I mean, you could definitely say Limp could have taken this award over Jonas and Fan.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of things have to do with awards like this, obviously. Comes down to, it's a lot of it has to do with skill, yes, but there is that entertaining side. And in the end, Jonas Fan, like I was saying, as far as diversity, as far as doing different things, he was not afraid to do that, and he made that work. Limp, on the other, it was more of a, it was because of team strategy or whatnot. Very good player, arguably even better as far as, arguably one of the best 1v1 players out there in the game. When it comes down to, playing different heroes, it was a lot of time, the Keeper of the Forest and whatnot. So I think that could have been a difference factor as well. But no doubt Limp deserves a huge shout out as well.
Yeah. Hey, Breaky, really quick, do you mind if I tell a quick story?
Yes, of course. I love stories.
All right, so I'm looking at the nominees for most valuable suicide, and one of the people I see on there is Zai. And everybody knows Zai, unfortunately. He doesn't play Heroes of Newerth anymore. He plays some Dota 2, and he seems to be doing very well, which is great. Zai is a really nice guy. But so I saw Zai at DreamHack Summer, would have been the last time that I saw him. And he gave me a call when I was in Sweden for DreamHack Winter, and he's like, "Hey, what's up, Milkfet? I'm thinking about coming by. I want to watch the Han and Dota 2 finals. Think you could get me in?" And I was like, "All right, yeah." So I was like, okay. So he calls me. He's like, "Hey, I'm outside. Come and get me." I go outside. and he told me where he was. And I just completely looked over him. I couldn't find him. I was looking everywhere. I was trying to figure out where he was. And he's like, dude, I'm here. I can't looking. And finally, behind me, I hear this fucking deep voice. Hey, Sam, I'm right here. And I turn around, and freaking Zai's there, like 6'4", just straight up gone through puberty, like the ball's hanging down to his knees, like the guy's got a deep voice, just giant now. And I was like, what the hell? Like, what happened to you, man? I saw you like 6 months ago. All I'm saying is, dude, puberty hit that guy hard. He's a man now. The dude is a man. And it was just, I don't even know what to say.
The real question here is, did he cut his hair?
No, which is awesome.
Hell yeah.
He's
There you go. There you go.
Very tall. You know, he's gotten he's maybe been working out a little bit, but he's still got that curly puby hair and
no longer best 15-year-old Hon player or what?
Yeah, he's like the biggest.
Surpassed that title.
Like, yeah,
he's still 15. He's still 15.
He'll always
3 years later. Yeah, he's still 15. All right, that is fun though. That is fun. I don't know if I've seen him. I want to say I did.
I didn't see him there.
Really, he came to DreamHack. I saw you. I walked up.
I was gonna say I thought I did say hi to him.
Well, I thought it was his dad or something.
Like wait. All right, good times. Okay, so keeping things moving along though. But Zai obviously was on the list as you pointed out. He was the returning Suicide Player as well as the MVP of 2012, of course, as deservingly so. But as you say, definitely died off, and so. Not taking the award by any means. But, okay, so moving along here, we got a couple more before the ones that we're going to be announcing here. We got the Most Valuable Ganker Award, and this one actually going to the hands of Super KGE of Lion Esports Club. Most Valuable Ganker, Super KGE. Beef, what were your thoughts on this one?
I mean, it's kind of interesting when you talk about this award because when we initially sent out the ballots, I got a message from Swindle, and he's like, hey, like, I don't like the name, like the Most Valuable Ganker. Like, can that be changed? And I'm like, why? What's going on? And he's like, I don't know. I just feel like it's not descriptive of what this is. Like the role here, this 2 role that could sometimes be a ganker. Sometimes you're going to be a heavy farmer. You're an initiator. You're just going to be playing that 2 role. And so we actually wrote that up into the nominations explaining like what this is because that role can encompass a lot of different things. In the end, Super KGE still comes away with it. I want to say he got quite a few of the votes. I don't remember the exact off of my count, but it's definitely one that he deserves. He's not only been a huge impact on his team, but he is a fan favorite and somebody that's always going to be putting up big plays in those games.
Milk Fat, what about you with Most Valuable Ganker?
Yeah. Give me one. All right. So this was a tough one for me. This was a very, very tough one because it was obviously between Swindle Melons and Super KGE. Both of them are incredibly good at their positions. They both play that mid role. They're both roaming and rotating. And so kind of what I did, because I was very conflicted in who I wanted to vote for. And so kind of how I broke it down is that I looked through all of Han Tour Season 2, what are their stats? And so just for you guys here, Swindle Melons averages a 1.41 KD. He averages 8.35 assists, and he averages 394 GPM. And then you got Super KGE, who has 1.56 KD, 8.53 assists, and 397 GPM. So these guys are literally 0.1 KD apart, 0.2 assists apart, and 2 gold per minute apart. KGE barely up in every single category. And so, in the way I looked at it and the reason why I voted for Super KGE is because this is being on the losing team. He loses more games than Swindle Melons does, and he still has the higher statistics. So it just shows to me that statistically he is better at the role. And that's just kind of why I threw my vote out there.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a two-way race in that sense, too. I mean, it was tough. Ace, what about you?
Gotta say it again. Super KG, my boy. There was one point at DreamHack, I was sitting behind him while he was playing that gauntlet, and he landed this ridiculously crazy hook on Swindle Melons that killed him. And then he turns to me, or then he types in chat, he's like, hey, $20. And he made some bets for the game about like how if he killed him with a hook, then he'd give him $20. So that just shows kind of this cool dynamic these two players have. But again, most entertaining and one of the best, or the best in my opinion, Super KG.
There you go. Super KG, deservedly so, taking the award. There were Swindle did get a couple of votes. Super KG, in the end, he did actually win this award pretty handily when it came down to the votes. Zergo and even B-Kid, actually, both did get a nominee, or got a vote in there.
I was going to say, who the hell voted for B-Kid? Like, B-Kid is number one at one thing, and that's jumping in and not activating his drunken head. B-Kid would get that award.
B-Kid voted for B-Kid. He snuck a vote in there.
Threw him in there.
I don't know, man. I don't know if he could step away from the gym to actually type out the votes.
Okay. Most valuable flex player. This is what I kind of brought up earlier. The first time we've actually had this in the 3 years that we've been doing these awards here. I thought it was an interesting one. We got some good nominees. It was Moon Meander, Chessie, VN Sensation, Limp, and Shuyu of Southeast Asia actually were the nominee list. In the end, Chessie did take this category, and I have to say it was pretty decisive when it came down to it as far as the votes were concerned. So yet another win for Chessie here. Most valuable flex player of the year. I think we've given him the praise already. I mean, anything further to add from any of you guys on Chessie?
Chessie's insane. That's it.
Chessie,
I want to bring up that Moon seems like a pretty flex player in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he got some votes.
Don't overlook that guy. Going from his role on Complexity all the way to his support on his latest team.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Talk about some good bloodlines though, as far as the family goes. Chessie and Limp both being nominees for most valuable flex player, as well as multiple other categories, and of course even winning some. So, brothers, getting some work done here. I guess Swindle and Z-Freak definitely deserve shout-outs for that too, though. With that said, both them up here on these lists. So, all right, the last category I think we want to go over before we actually announce the ones that haven't been publicly announced yet. Most valuable captain of the year. The most valuable captain of the year. In the end, I'm pulling it up right here as far
Hands
as
down.
what the community voted for. But in the end, it was Swindle. Hands down, as you put it. I don't think this is really coming as a shocker to anyone. But Swindle decisively taking captain of the year. So, Beef, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm going to just direct you to what Swindle actually said in his post, which I ad-libbing here. Something like, a captain is only a reflection of his team, and without the players that he actually had with his team right there, that he would not have been there. So he just really kind of threw that back at his team, and I got to give him huge props, mad respect for that, because you really, to take that group of players and lead them to this many victories says something not only about him as a captain, as a leader, but just about the team and their team dynamic as well. So just well done to both Swindle and Stay Green.
Milkfat?
I think it goes without saying, Kyle Swindle is probably the best captain in the history of Heroes of New Earth, and one of the best captains I've ever seen in esports, period. I talk to the guy a lot. I know what goes through his mind. I know what training he goes through. I know what he thinks about. I know the questions that he asks me and what he looks into. And I've never met anybody that cares and tries as much. There is no comparison. I mean, this guy lives and breathes to be the best that he can be, and that also is, the best captain that he can be. Everybody was saying, when Keizu, when Slicks leave, Stay Green's not going to be the same. Stay Green sucks. Slicks carried Stay Green. I think it's pretty evident that what carries Stay Green is the fact that they have a rock-solid leader that is always going to be there to always make the calls. He'll admit when he doesn't make a right call. He'll easily. I've been there at a LAN where he's like, I shouldn't have done that. Like, that was a bad call. Like, my bad. Like, it takes a lot for everybody that calls him arrogant. It takes a lot to be able to admit your mistakes in the heat of a moment like that. I've played with so many people who will never admit they're wrong. And, you have to literally go back through the replays just to get that point across. But this guy he's so flexible. He could take any game. They could be down. Like you always talk about, Stay Green, they're down by 16K at 25 minutes. But you still know that they're going to come back and win somehow, because he could take the most grim situation, have a calm demeanor, and come up with a smart game plan just right there on the fly. They practice. They have strategies. They have calls that he makes before while they're in a game, he can make a call, and people know what that is. He has timing pushes down. He knows exactly that, at 8 minutes and blah, blah seconds, these two people, Keeper of the Force is going to rotate here, and we're going to take 2 towers right now because that's when this guy's going to be level 6. Like, he has everything mapped out. He watches every single replay. And there's no doubt in my mind that he is easily the best captain I've ever seen in my entire life at any esports team.
So you want to tell us then why you voted for B-Kid?
Wait, is this real?
No, I did not vote for B-Kid.
Oh, I was gonna say, I thought those ballots were secret.
Did anybody vote for B-Kid?
B-Kid voted for B-Kid. He voted twice.
B-Kid snuck in there.
No, I definitely voted for Kyle. He deserves it. There's nobody else that stands a chance.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Love Handskin, love Insania, love those my nuts. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. But
who doesn't love their nuts?
But yeah, that's that.
Ace.
Did anybody not vote for Swindle?
Yeah, it was B-Kid.
Okay.
B-Kid did actually get one, and then Handskin got one.
Okay.
But in the end, Swindle's got
who
the
voted
Ace.
for B-Kid, man?
No,
Probably the same person that voted for Complexity Gaming.
Probably the same person. I'll say the nominees here. I'll say the list of voters that were here: Sender, Insania, Handskin, Swinnamelons, Moomiander were the voters outside.
And Lark, yeah?
I never got his results,
Oh.
actually.
Damn it, Lark.
I'll let you decide out of those 5 which one of those actually voted for B-Kid and Complexity Gaming. I think it should be pretty obvious, but
Really?
Well, I was gonna say it's kind of hard to follow that big speech up by Sam, but it's blatantly obvious that when you see these teams compete live, of how far the captain role really carries a team. Have to say, Slap did a great job at DreamHack, and you could tell how much that his role as the leader on Denial really carried that team. But even more so, Swindle Melons, every time he plays with his team, is not only loud, and if you're just watching, you can be like, oh man, that's kind of obnoxious, like it's kind of a douche. But at the same time, you're like, but that's what his team needs to win, and it gets his team riled up. And every time, what do? They come up on top. So is it him being kind of an obnoxious, or is it him being the leader that needs to be for his team to win every single time?
He pumps me up, man. I'm gonna be honest. He pumps me up when I'm sitting there at a LAN, and he gets me excited. So I can only feel like his teammates got to get even more excited, because everybody that's sitting there at a LAN watching Kyle gets pumped up when he's on. When he's doing his thing, it gets everybody excited. Yeah. He can rally people. He's a leader. He's just a natural born leader.
Yeah. So definitely, again, hands down, Swindle Melons.
Deservingly so, Captain of the Year for 2013. So that kind of takes us now to the 2 awards that haven't been publicly announced yet. Just real quick, I want to do an overview. So as far as we obviously passed over some. It's on Honcast.com, guys. You can check out all the winners for yourself for all 18 of the awards. Eventually, but you got other awards, things like Best Competitive Newcomer. You had Mickey. The Best Offline Tournament, DreamHack Summer, was actually won that. Sound Blaster Heroes League won for the Best Online Tournament. Shout out to Beef right there.
Wait, Ultimate Series didn't win?
Ultimate Series did not win. You voted for it, I know, but Ultimate Series did not actually win. Best Online Tournament. Most Entertaining Streamer was Moomiander, so congratulations to Moomiander for taking home that one. The Most Improved Team of the Year was Lion Esports Club, and as well as the Most Entertaining Team. And the Most Entertaining Player was Super KGE as well. So I believe that kind of recaps as far as all the awards there, as far as what happened. So now we're going to talk about the 2 awards that have not been announced yet. So I figure we'll start actually with Team of the Year, because let's just say I think this one may be a little bit more obvious than the other one. As far as Team of the Year goes, Stay Green does sure enough take Team of the Year as far as 2013 goes. So obviously, big congratulations to Stay Green. Is there any doubt in anyone's mind here that this was even remotely a close call? Or Beef, we'll start with you.
I mean, I'm looking at the results right here, and the one team that I would have expected to maybe have some votes in there was Lions Esports Club. Now, the one team
how could you expect that? They've won every single LAN the entire year.
Maybe to have like 1 or 2 votes because there's some serious Lion fanboys out there. Yeah. But Complexity is the other team that got 1 vote. Like, that's really odd. And I think there should have been no chance whatsoever that anybody should have been voting other than Stay Green. 4 LAN titles on 3 continents this year. I think we're up to now 10 cycle titles in Diamond Division. Sound Blaster Heroes League. They had all of those streaks undefeated on LAN for forever.
4 LAN titles, not 3, 4.
Yeah. 4 LAN titles on 3 continents. It's incredible what they've done all year long through roster changes, their team house. It's the year of Stay Green. Absolutely.
Milkfat.
Yeah, I mean, Grab Lords was coming in, but ultimately it came down to Stay Green.
So it's Grab.
Stay Green.
There's nothing that needs to be said. I mean,
yeah. Hey, you say anything to add?
I mean, if you just take a look at all these categories and what players are just rising to the top, Z-Freak, Chessie, Swindle, Chessie, MyNuts, Chessie, Swindle again. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Their entire team is just, I don't know, just overwhelmingly clustered with great players. And on top of that, they got the best captain, as was said earlier. So how can it not be the best team?
Results speak for themselves. Simply what it comes down to, I think, in the end. So Stay Green deservedly so, again, taking a Team of the Year for 2013. So congratulations to them. With that said, now the one last award here, and talk about this ended up actually being the closest one, deservingly so, most valuable player. So first things first, I real quickly want to go over the nominee list for this. Of course, as far as the nominees for most valuable player, it was actually Swindle Melons, Super KGE, Chessie, MyNuts, Jonas of Van, and Haxerin was on this list as far as the MVP, the most valuable players for their respective teams. Several of these players actually having multiple teams, of course, that they were on. Now, to start this off, before we announce the winner, I want to say, oh my God, it was close. 4 players actually had 2 votes in the end. 4 different players had 2 votes, and then 2 other players had 1 vote on top of that. Z-Freak is actually a nominee as well. I forgot to even throw him in there. Z-Freak was actually another one that was thrown out there. So 4-way tie with 2 votes each. Well, one of those votes actually was voted by the community, and that's the player that ended up winning it as a result. So without further ado, I'll actually show it on screen right here as far as the results go. Your most valuable player of 2013, Swindle Melons of Stay Green. He takes home the Captain of the Year as well as being on the Team of the Year. And he actually, deservedly so, takes home the most valuable player on top of it all. As you can see, it was actually very, very, very close. A matter of 4 votes difference between him and Chessie, who could be the deciding factor. But in the end, Swindle Melons did end up taking it. Most valuable player.
Votes?
It was 4 votes from the community.
Holy
as
crap.
far as the difference goes. So, yeah, it was close.
That's insane.
That's basically was a difference maker right there. So, very close, deservingly so, but in the end, like also deservingly so, Swindle Melons takes it home. So, Beef, we'll start with you. Your thoughts on Swindle Melons taking home the most valuable player.
I mean, it's really interesting to me that Swindle Melons actually comes away with MVP, but not most valuable ganker. Like, to not win his player role, but then to win most valuable player, it kind of shows that Swindle Melons isn't just a ganker. He's not just that 2 for his team. He's been playing Suicide lately. He's been playing short lane. He's been playing that mid role, and of course, most importantly, the captain. And without Swindle Melons, what would Stay Green be? That's all I've got to say about this. He is the definition of the most valuable player.
Milkfat? Well,
yeah, I mean, I just gave like a huge speech about Kyle.
Keep the jerk going.
Yeah, keep the jerk going. I mean, yeah, you know, he's so handsome and cool too. No, I mean, he's the best. I mean, it's as simple as that. There is no other player in the game today that is as well-rounded as he is. He brings, just like what Beef was saying, the fact that he didn't win Ganker just shows that what he brings to a team is so much more than just in-game skill. It's obviously that he's a high-tier player. He's been a high-tier player since the game came out 4 years ago. He's so much. It's what he brings. It's the leadership, the passion, the drafting, the strategies, the time, the dedication. He's somebody that you can look up to and admire, which is one of the most important things in a competitive team. There's always so many people breaking up. There's always so many teams having problems. There's always so many issues. But having a captain that you can look up to and respect is one of the most important things in actually having a successful esports team. And if you talk to Chessie, I've had a lot of talks with Chessie and Limp and MyNuts, and these guys just they admire him. They admire his work ethic, how dedicated he is to making sure that the team succeeds. And, people always give him shit for the tax thing or whatever, but just being there and listening to them talk, he is so open about, hey guys, this is what's going to happen with this, this is what's going to happen with this. It's just, he gets way too much crap for the amount of dedication and effort that he puts into the game, and he deserves to be the best. Whatever strategies he uses them because they win, and because he doesn't want to just win for himself. He wants his team to win. He wants the rings. He wants the awards. He wants the medals. He wants to be the best. Entertaining fans come second. What's the most important thing to Kyle is being the best captain, the best team, and the best player in the world, and he succeeds at almost all of that. So shout out to him. Absolutely deserved. Swindle is king this year. 2013 was the year of the Kyle. So congrats.
Ace, your thoughts?
Again, hard to follow up on Sam there, but yeah, most valuable player. I have to give it to him. It was a close tie between all these other really qualified players, but when you lead your team to 4 LAN titles and just crushing the entire Han Tour cycle, it's pretty blatant.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real quickly also, as far as the other people that got 2 votes as well, it was Super KGE, Chessie, and Haxerin actually both received 2 votes. So it was, again, very, very close as far as most valuable player goes for 2013. The closest it's ever been, definitely. But Swindle Melons joins Trixie and Zai as far as players that have won most valuable player for the yearly awards.
God damn it, man. I hate Twitch chat sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. That said, what's up? Go ahead.
I was going to say, just, you look at the other people that got nominated, and you see Super KG, you see Chessie, you see Haxerin, and a lot of those guys are the same guys that you see at every single LAN event. You see them in the finals of every single tournament. Yeah. They're just always prevalent. So don't take anything away from them. Chessie, Haxerin, Super KGE, everybody on that list is just absolutely phenomenal. And
yeah,
what it came down to was what somebody can bring. This wasn't best player. It was most valuable. And what the value that Melons has is just exceeds that of every other player on that list.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to say one more thing too, is that a lot of people are saying in chats, like, why doesn't anybody listen to him on balance changes then? Why doesn't S2 listen to him if he's so good? We do. I know the balance team here listens to a lot of the competitive players on balance changes. I don't know where that weird myth started.
You should not have brought that up right before Kyle comes on. That was a big mistake.
That was
right as Swindle Melons joins the crew.
Oh boy.
What's up, Swindle? What's up, Adam?
That was a mistake.
All right, back to the topic. Nice job on Player of the Year, dog.
Cool.
Oh, I'm failing all over. Anyway, I'm trying to do some on-the-fly editing right here, as we are, of course, as you can tell, joined by Swindle Melons now. So with that said, Swindle Melons, how's it going?
Pretty good, man. It's probably one of my better days, I suppose, as far as the Heroes of New Earth universe is concerned. How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. Have you been? I take it you've been tuning in and listening to the praise, especially from Milkfat.
Yeah, I didn't know Sam. I didn't know Sam had such a big crush on me.
Come on, man.
I appreciate it, man.
Crush.
Yeah,
Nice
some
guy.
people need to have real talk, man. I've always thought that you get too much shit.
Yeah.
You know, I've felt the same a couple times, but I appreciate hearing it from somebody other than my internal dialogue. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So with that said, of course, we're having you on. Want to give you a chance to, obviously, maybe give some shout-outs or whatnot. I mean, a lot of awards. You win the Captain of the Year. You were part of the team that won the Team of the Year, of course, in Stay Green. You win the Most Valuable Player. By the way, you want to refresh your camera real quickly? It's not coming on for me.
Oh, is it?
Let me just give it another go here. Maybe get it on. If not, whatever. Not a big deal. But
it's working
anyway,
for me.
yeah.
It was on for a second.
Was it on for a second? I don't know. It might be the Skype call, too. But anyways, with that said, obviously, what does this mean to win an award like, especially the most valuable player here for the Hon team?
I mean, I definitely wasn't expecting it. Like I thought, I was like, "There's no chance." I was like, I was surprised I made the list. I just didn't think it was going to happen. But obviously, it means a lot. The one that really matters to me is Team of the Year, though, because it doesn't. You guys know all know who Jerry West is. I'm sure most of the Europeans don't, but Jerry West is the only guy to win MVP from the losing team in a American sports final. And I always thought that'd just have to be like the worst feeling in the world, because it doesn't really matter how good you are or how good other people think you are if you're not able to win. And Han's like a team game. Everybody gives 20%, and like if it weren't for my squad, like then there wouldn't be wins, and I wouldn't even be on this list. So again, like it's really a big honor, and I appreciate it a lot. But the big award to be proud of as a member of Stay Green is just Team of the Year and winning so much, because that's really all I've tried to do.
Yeah. Now
done a pretty good job.
Done a pretty good job with that. Yeah. I want to actually make a point right here. I obviously mentioned that you were actually one of the people that was on this voting list, and so people might do the math and they may figure, well, he voted for himself, and that's what. I want to make this point. You did not vote for yourself. You actually were very insistent on voting for Z-Freak as the most valuable player, and you actually put your vote in for Z-Freak. I want to give you a chance to kind of explain that and why you thought that was the case.
I don't know. To me, MVP is like, what player could you take? And again, I consider all roles equal. Like they all give 20%. A lot of people think the carry is the one with the most impact on the game, but the carry is enabled by his support, and the better support you have, the better chance your carry has of actually moving on and making waves in the game. And I feel like if you started any team, like the first player I would want, just based on how good he is in comparison to other people of his role, is Z-Freak. And I said that in a couple analysis I did some of the games from DreamHack. I just think the guy's an incredible player, and I've been playing with him since he was really bad. Like I think he was 16. He's like 19 now. It's kind of funny. We'll talk over dinner sometimes. Like, what have we done with our lives? Because we were playing this game like 3 years ago together, and we didn't win anything, and now we finally are. And a big part of it is really just thanks to Z-Freak. And I think he's just an awesome player, and he never brings a shitty attitude, never flames anybody. We were joking about it, like there should have been like a good guy award, because I think Zach would have won that one. And just really glad that he's stuck by me, because we've definitely had our tiffs, because you play with the guy, you live with the guy. Sometimes when you lose 4 scrims in a row, it can kind of make you a bit angry at one another. But he's just a great guy, a great player, and I'm honored that he has stuck by me for so long.
Now, as we talked about, so for the word like the Team of the Year, especially, it was basically unanimous as far as you guys winning for Team of the Year when it came down to it for Stay Green. I'm actually curious from your perspective. Would you have rather have been maybe a little bit closer? Like, would you have rather like there would have been another team, like maybe the Lions, maybe won a land to maybe give you guys a runner, or are you happy? You just won the Team of the Year, and you think getting pretty much all the votes is definitely makes sense.
I'd love to hear the argument against us. I'm sure Majoran has one, but I mean, I think if there was a vote that should have been unanimous, it was that one, because the roster's changed a lot over the year, but I mean, we've always somehow managed to come out on top, which is kind of, I look back at some of the games, like we really should have lost a lot of games at some of these LAN events, but we managed to just win somehow. I remember just some buyback post-haste throne kills and some crazy comebacks and buybacks, and just it was a really good year for Stay Green, and I'm glad I could be a part of it.
It's definitely a great year for Han. I mean, 2013, obviously a lot of events happened, and here we are now, 2014, and you think you guys can win the award again? I mean, you're off to a good start. How are you feeling going into 2014?
Feeling really good. We've been scrimming a lot this week, and just morale's good. We're all feeling good. DreamHack win was awesome. Then we all got to go kick it in Amsterdam for a while as a team. Zach went to Italy with Sender. They had a blast, and now we're kind of ready to just get back on the grind and hopefully chill with Pat and Sam in Thailand after the next LAN.
Right on. With that said, any other questions from you guys around the panel here for Melons that we have them on?
No invite to next Stankface Cypher, Adam?
I mean, if you guys want performances, I guess that's why I'm on, right?
Yeah.
So, Kyle, I was kind of just doing the math, and I think I was talking to Johan about it, my nuts. Basically, if you guys, even if you finish, I'm not saying you are, even if you finish 5th, 6th this cycle, and Lions wins, unless you completely flop in cycle 10, that first spot is almost clinched, right?
Yeah, trust me, I know.
Yeah?
yeah. We'd have to finish worse than 12th.
Okay.
We'd have to literally lose our first 2 games, so double forfeiting, which would hopefully not happen. I'll do my best to make sure everybody wakes up.
All right. So I mean, we could all assume to say that you are Stay Green is going to be the team. You won Team of the Year. You guys are now the top team in Han Tour. You've kind of clinched your way to the Han Tour Global Grand Finals. You excited to go to Thailand? I mean, what do you guys think about going there? Who do you think is going to be the team next to you?
It's tough. It depends on how much Strife Lions keep playing, because, man, they're on there 24/7. But I think Lions has a distinct lead, but I've always said the key to success is really just how hard you're willing to work. And, like, that, I honestly, if there's an award that I would really want to win, it would just be hardest working player, because I think that's what matters. Like, if Lions don't scrim and NK, Excellent, one of these guys like come up and manage to surprise them in the tournament, it could happen. It's possible, but Lions is the best team, and if they actually stop strifing and get their shit together, they should, without a doubt, be up on the podium with us at in Thailand at the finals.
Super KG, best Lady Tinder. You.
It's a hooking hero.
What an awful hero.
Awesome.
Just kidding.
Lions is your. If Lions practices, they're going to be there.
Yeah, I said this on the Panty Show. I think it'll be us versus them in the finals.
I hope, man.
Yeah.
It should be good too.
Those
If
games
Stay
were entertaining
Green-
in DreamHack, and love that to be on like a final stage.
Especially one where we have crazy commentators with way too much energy and caffeine.
and dudes that light themselves on fire and eat raw meat in order to make
Yeah.
themselves throw up.
Amazing. So, Swindle, if you guys make it to Thailand, you're bringing my nuts. How are you going to deal with the PTSD that he experienced from the last event?
I think he's got over it. The DreamHack helped soothe his stomach. He's okay now.
That GIF is going to get spammed.
Yeah. I'd love. Yeah, it's a really funny to look at. I think he's even. It's pretty hilarious. It's funny though because like no one ever captured it on camera, but I imagine I had a look like that on my face more than a few times in my career. Because again, before this year, I played. I still tried like really, really hard. Not as hard because I had other things going on in my life, but. Man, it really sucks to lose. And like without I've said this a lot on stream, like you can't appreciate winning and you can't have the same drive to win without a long history of losing to look back upon. Like it just sucks so much, and it's like you're motivated more by the fear of losing than the possible joy of winning. And I know that feel. So Johan, got you.
Okay, you're back.
With another election coming up, is Gary Johnson 2016 going to make a return?
Possibly. I might just write in Ron Paul, even though the guy quit politics.
Oh no.
R.I.P.
I know. What is it? Yeah, let's change topics, please.
That's all I got.
Melons, any shout outs, any final words you want to make here, man?
I mean, I have a lot, but the important ones to me are obviously all the fans that just provide just constant support. I get Twitch messages like a couple times a week just saying, hey, man, I think you're a good guy. And those really help me feel good about myself. But a huge shout out to just my teammates, both past and present, including Sender and Skyzo. You guys, even though we had to part ways, you were a big part in making us as successful as we are now. Big shout out to my family who are constantly supporting me and hanging out at our house on game days just to watch from behind us and like cheer and go crazy when I start yelling. So Andrew, Gavin, Brandon, Mom, and Grandma. And of course, big shout out to my dad, who again, nobody will know nor ever know the backstory, but the main point is just we would not have been able to continue playing Han as we did if it weren't for his support. So a big shout out to my dad, Papa Freak, who made everything possible. And of course, the constant motivation I receive in Twitch chat, you guys, and the forums. Like, just keep it coming, guys. I love it.
Hater fuel, man.
Keep it coming.
But yeah, and a big shout out to you guys. Like, thanks for just putting this all together. Appreciate it a lot. And hopefully we have a great many tournaments to come.
Yeah, definitely. We got Cycle 9 obviously resuming this weekend. It's going to be a fun finish. We're going to be announcing actually the playoff breakdown as far as the format and everything very shortly here. So definitely I'm excited to do that and see how that's going to look. So Melons, appreciate it as always, man. Deservedly so. Captain of the year, most valuable player of the year, and even on team of the year. Congratulations. Thanks for joining us, man.
All right. Thanks for having me on. Have a good one.
See you, Kyle.
Peace.
And there we go. All right, so again, it's one of Melons joining us there. Let's have the cameras kind of get back to how they were supposed to. There we go.
Change the overlay, man.
Yeah. On the fly editing's not the friendliest. Okay. Anyways, with that said, welcome back to this. So there you go. That's the 2013 awards. Again, most valuable player, Swindle Melons right there. Like I said, it was very close. Definitely still very close, but Swindle Melons does take it for 2013. So. Yeah, cool to hear from him. And as you put it, Milk, I mean, he even reiterated that, it's just about winning in the end and hard working, and it definitely shows. So, congratulations once again. All right. I think it's time to move on, though, to what we're going to do here, what we've been talking about, kind of hyping up here a little bit. And I'm excited for this because this is, of course, what I'm talking about here is the Han Tour playoffs. You just have to do that. Anyways, we've been talking about this for a little bit. It's obviously been in the works now, but we finally have something to present to you as far as the format, the breakdown of the event, and how it's going to look. So I actually got a nice image for you guys now. We did the best here to make it as you look at it and you're like, okay, I understand it may be a little intimidating off the bat, but I believe Beef may even be here to kind of break it down a little bit. As far as what we're looking at. So here, this is the Han Tour playoffs. Again, the top 16 teams, the teams number 2 through 17 going to be moving on. The first team obviously automatically going. That's what I'll say. Beef, I'll let you take it over.
Well, I mean, if you want to follow along at home, I literally just hit the button to submit all of this onto the forums for our official announcement there. So there's, of course, more info than what we have just here on the infographic. But the basics here, we're essentially going to be doing a double group stage into a playoffs. And, of course, number 1 overall seed from Han Tour rankings is going directly to the Global Grand Finals. From there, numbers 2 and 3 are going to get direct seeds into the final bracket here. So they're going to bypass the group stages. And then we have 16 teams that are going to be playing each other in the group stages. That's going to be narrowed down to 8 teams in the second group stages. And then 4 teams will advance into that final bracket to meet numbers 2 and 3 in the finals. Winner of that tournament goes to Thailand as well. And of course, the group structure here, all of these groups are going to be the exact same. It's going to be a group of 4, and essentially there's going to be 5 best-of-3 matches played in each one of these groups. A little mini tournament, if you will. There's going to be seeding in there. Matches 1 and 2 get played out. Winners go on to a winner's match. Losers go on to the losers match, noted in green and red here on your screen. The winner of the winner's match advances to the next stage. The loser of the losers match gets eliminated. The 2 remaining teams play one more time. Winner advances, loser is eliminated. And that's how you're narrowing it down for each one of these groups from 4 into 2 teams. And then you're just going to progress like that. 16 teams down to 8 teams down to the final bracket until we're really just kind of be finished up with it. Get our grand finalists, get our guys to Thailand. And I don't know, I'm really happy with this format right here. As you'd mentioned, it can be a little bit confusing as you're first looking at it right here. But there's plenty of explanation as to how it works here on the post, on the forums. And once you actually see it in action, it's really easy to follow along. And I really love the way that it works. We're going with all best-of-3 matches in the group stages, all best-of-3s in the playoffs until a best-of-5 finals. Make sure that we don't have to deal with any best-of-1s, best-of-2s. And most importantly, it's going to provide us with a hell of a tournament for the month of February.
I think the biggest thing to take from this is exactly – we're going to have a hell of an event in February. There's going to be a lot of heroes in New Earth, a lot of top-tier play heroes in New Earth with a lot on the line. Again, a trip to Thailand, a trip to the Global Grand Finals for Han Tour Season 2 will be on the line. We had the playoffs, obviously, for Season 1. It was a great playoffs. It definitely was. It was happening, unfortunately, during the GSL event. And, it was a fairly simple format. I believe it was a double elimination. And, it was a good result in the end, but my point is, Season 2, we definitely upgraded. We definitely upgraded, and I'm excited for this.
One thing I want to point out is that the most important thing of this that teams playing in Han Tour and you as fans should pay attention to is that teams number 2 and 3 in Han Tour points automatically make it into the playoffs and get to skip that group stage. Why it's important is because Internet Gangsters has disbanded. They were the third place team, which means that that spot is now available. And that means we have Reason Gaming, Too Much Sugar, Team Excellent, and The Law all within 1,000 points of each other. So any one of those teams could be that third place team, and and they're all still in the tournament right now. They're all in cycle 9. They're all going to be in cycle 10. It just shows how important these next 2 cycles are going to be, because one of these teams is going to be able to get an easy out from the group stages. Those are a lot of games, and there's a chance that there's a lot of good teams in this tournament.
A lot of chance for slip up.
Yeah, you don't want to have to go through 2 group stage matches if you don't have to.
Yeah. And those group stages, talking about those, you lose 2 matches in the group stage and you're eliminated. So, and it's also going to be really interesting the way that it's seeded. It's, of course, by Han Tour points. So number 4 goes into Group A, number 5 goes into Group B, etc. With the way that the rankings work out, especially with some of these like newer teams that have just formed, that they could barely get in at the end, it'd be crazy if we see somebody like Denial getting in with one of the top teams, which is very possible because they're a newer team. And it's just going to be crazy to see the way the seedings work out when we finish up with Cycle 10.
Yeah. I mean, I got the standings up for the people right now. It really is, as you're just talking about, Sam. With IG going out, that third place spot, it's crazy how basically 4 different teams, almost 6 different, you could even argue, as depending on how they finish, are pretty much in that running to, as you said, not have to worry about those group stages initially. And that is very, very, very important. So that really does hype up cycle number 9 finish, and even cycle 10, of course, that much more. A lot of people are looking at it as like, oh, well, Stay Green already has it wrapped up number 1. Lion's going to be number 2. What's the point? Well, there's definitely a point now to really watch this and see how these teams finish up, as far as the team themselves also playing into it, of course. And again, that 17 down here, that's obviously the cutoff. Right now, tight pants on in the number 17 seed. Never heard of them, but they are in the 17 seed, and we'll see if they remain there or not. But it's going to be a fun playoff, that is for sure, and I'm excited that we can finally announce this. As far as, do we have dates yet? I don't know. Do we actually have official dates yet, or is that still in the works?
There are dates that are on the competitive forums where this is actually posted right now, so I'm pretty sure those are the dates that are set here. I mean, there's always the possibility that things get moved around and whatnot. But yeah, it's at least right now scheduled to be starting on Saturday, the 1st of February, and running until the 23rd of February.
Okay. So it's going to be kind of like a Honorary month. It doesn't roll off the tongue like Hontober. I'm sorry.
No, it doesn't. Nice try, Breaky.
I'm trying to get there. No, but February, it's going to be a busy month. Again, a lot of good Heroes of Newerth coming at you on the competitive scene, a great playoff format. Again, after Cycle 10, it's not over by any means. There's still plenty to come with the playoffs, and then eventually the Global Grand Finals, which obviously we'll have more information when we do for you guys on top of that. So, looking at this now, again, it's pretty obvious Lion Esports Club, they're going to be in that 2 seed. If you guys had to choose a team, is there one that stands out to you to maybe get in that 3 seed, moving on to the playoffs? I mean, you got pretty much Reason, a team. They're labeled as Team SR, but it's really Team NK now. Team Excellent, of course, and then the Law. I mean, if I had to choose off the top of my head, I would probably say Team Excellent with the momentum they've got going, and their new roster seems like it's coming together. What about you guys, Beef?
I think I'm right there with you. They've done really, really well so far. I think the one team that could give them a real challenge for that spot is maybe going to be the guys at NK. Because they're just so close right now. Literally, like 250 points are separating those 2 teams right now. Yeah. And we'll have to see. NK, they've got a ton of potential, but they've got a little bit of work to do from seeing that last match against Team Excellent. They're going to need to place a little bit higher here, but it could be crazy. I'm going with Team Excellent, but NK is a close second.
Milkfat, you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I had a thought, but it's changed suddenly. Pew, CEO, just sent me a message. There's a chance that his team is going to be losing points because of roster changes as well. And so
more? Jeez.
We recently had to change the rules this past weekend because of the stand-in system, and we made a couple changes. But obviously, Team Excellent, they've been playing amazing so far this cycle. The new team seems strong as ever. They definitely have a very good chance. You got Too Much Sugar. Too Much Sugar and Reason Gaming are facing off Saturday morning, so tomorrow morning. That's going to be a huge match. Loser of that probably doesn't have a chance to grab that seed. So there's a lot on the line. Honestly, I'm going to go with probably Denial Esports.
Denial Esports.
Yeah, but I mean, it's rough because they're playing Stay Green, but yeah, I mean, I just think that they have a lot of potential. I think the team's great. I think if they really put their minds to it, that they're going to be able to turn this around and really try to take it home.
Ace, you got any thoughts on that?
Nothing better than you guys. I don't know. It's all you.
All right. Good enough.
One thing I do want to bring up right here is that for Denial Esports, these last 2 cycles are going to be extremely important. Talking once again about the way that this actually breaks down, with teams 4, 5, 6, and 7 getting the high seed going into stage 1, that means that Team 8, which is currently Denial Esports, will actually get seeded into the same group as team number 4 if they do not move. Yeah. So Denial, they want to move up into one of those spots because otherwise they're going to be playing whoever just missed out on that number 3 slot in the first group stage. Like, that's not a risk that you want to have to take. And so right now they need 2,000 points to actually bump up and take over the Laws spot there at number 7. So, I mean, these points are really coming down to the wire here.
That's another thing I just love about this format. There's so many seeds that like actually really matter when it comes down to it. So again, it makes it all the way to the very finish through Cycle 10 that these results truly do matter. And it's gonna be a lot of fun not only going into Cycle 10, but obviously seeing what it shapes up to be after Cycle 10 is officially all said and done. So there you go. That was definitely the fun announcement that we wanted to get out to you guys as far as the playoff format and whatnot. So again, just basically, if anything you want to take from that, there's going to be a lot of good Heroes of New Earth throughout the month of February with a very, very important thing on the line. Of course, that is the trip to the Global Grand Finals in Thailand for Han Tour Season number 2. So you definitely don't want to miss all that coverage. Obviously, there's going to be plenty of it, plenty of content throughout that month especially. So with that said, speaking of, we've been talking about Cycle 9 a little bit right here. I actually just had the brackets up there, Ethan. So not too much else to talk about, but of course with Cycle number 9 here coming out. Right now we are down to 6 teams remaining, so we kind of do mixing a couple things here. First off, I want to kind of go over, so we're talking about Too Much Sugar. This is basically a new team here. We've got the roster on the screen right now. So we're looking at Tankafet, Insania, Panny, Haxerin, and Own Me and Xibby, I believe. I don't think Panny's a part of their fight, so I think it's actually Tankafet, Insania, Haxerin, Own Me, and Xibby is their main 5-man roster for the new Team NK. They're still known as Too Much Sugar, but I believe they're going by Team NK now. Within the game, Insania, obviously, we also mentioned that Internet Gangsters is no longer a team. They've disbanded. What are your thoughts on this new team? Obviously, Moomian are quitting the competitive scene, so changes going on. But, I mean, this is definitely a new team to an extent. That's for sure. Beef, what are your thoughts on this team?
I mean, it's kind of crazy the way that this team is actually reformed. They kick Keizu, and then it's like, okay, where do they go from here? And then Moon quits, and it's like, okay, where do they go from here? And they pick up heroes like Xibby and Onmei, not heroes, players. I guess you could call them heroes in their own right. But Xibby and Onmei, and both of them proven commodities. Onmei is definitely a little bit more of that wild card, though. He's almost in this position where he's a 16-year-old player, and he's definitely got a lot of skill. I would call Onmei inconsistent, though, in the past. There's been sometimes I'm like, holy crap, this guy's really good. And I'm like, other times I'm like, holy crap, Onmei's AFK for 20 minutes doing the dishes right now because he can't play this match. So we'll see which Onmei actually shows up when NK gets down to brass tacks. But with Tankafet at the wheel, I'm actually really confident in this team. I think that Tanka definitely has what it takes to be a strong captain, as we saw actually at DreamHack Winter when he was one of the players that's making a lot of calls for that TMSR team, helping to call out things. His game sense is there, and especially a captain from that support position is going to be really interesting to watch. So on top of that, I hope that they do really well because Haxter deserves to win something this year. And so far, he's only brought home that Sound Blaster Heroes League Season 1. I'd really love to see Hax actually do well at a LAN or some kind of extremely meaningful event.
Milkfat, you have any thoughts, Team NK here?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of following up with what Beef said is you look at the roster, and the main person that stands out to me is, you got Haxer. And Haxer is just a proven winner and a proven veteran when it comes to being at lands, about qualifying, about making sure that, even as an underdog, that they'll be at the land, that they'll be at the event. Even you got Insania. Insania is a veteran too. He's gone to a handful of lands. So you got these two veterans. Tankfed as a captain. We'll see how that plays out. But they've got an experienced roster. They know what they need to do to win, and it's just whether or not they're going to practice and prepare enough to do it.
That's the interesting thing for me about this. Seeing Insania on the team, seeing Haxer on the team even. These are two players that have been captains in their own right. And then all of a sudden, Tankfed. But as Beef pointed out, he was definitely making some calls at the DreamHack event. Although this is, and obviously won the Most Improved Player of the Year award, as we just talked about earlier on. So clearly there's something about this guy that you should know him by now. And again, going to be taking that captain role. So that's going to be interesting how that turns out. But definitely the star power is there. And it's going to be fun to see how they shape up, obviously, going into those playoffs as we were just talking about. Ace, you have any thoughts here on Team NK?
Yeah, I was going to say, I have to agree with Beef on that one, is that with Tankfed getting more of that, it was a difference between making calls on a team when you're not the captain, and then when you actually have that role defined, everybody knows you as the captain, then making those calls hold a lot more impact. So the fact that he's now the established captain of the team, you can make those calls with a little more, not judgment, but a little bit more power behind each of them and have his team listen. And then sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes all it takes is you need that authority to make the team click and do exactly what you want. So I'm excited to see that and hope for the best. I love seeing Hax play too. He's always a cool guy to see in person and obviously kills it land games as well. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
All right. Now the other team that obviously had quite a bit of roster changes was, as we were talking about earlier, even Team Excellent. And the thing that really makes this very even extra interesting is the fact that they defeated Stay Green this past weekend to get to this point here in the winter bracket finals of Cycle number 9. Now, you look at Team Excellent, where they consist of Pew is still the captain, but now you got Sender, Nox, Keizu, Zerga, and Fine is their 6-man roster. I'm not exactly which 5 they go. I believe it's Fine's their 6-man out, but not out, but their 6-man replacement. Anyways, Nox coming back from Thailand. First off, noting that that whole situation. We kind of talked about a little bit about that, Beef and I, on the castles last weekend. So first off, about that whole situation, Thailand is Nova, I believe, is the only one out there at this point. VN Sensation, Nox, Emperor, they've all come back to their where they're from, basically. So that was interesting to hear about as well. But Nox is back, and he's back with Team Excellent here. So it's definitely good to see that. But again, they're coming off a big win. Keizu found a new home. Team Excellent, man, they once again look good. A lot of roster changes. Sam was just making the point that maybe even more penalized might be coming because of some roster changes, unfortunately. But what are your thoughts on this team, Beef?
They look good.
Yeah.
They look really, really good. Now, one thing I will say about them is that their victory over State Green, that was, of course, with a ringer, with State Green not having practiced that much, but they looked damn good. You have to play very well to take a win over State Green in any kind of capacity. Now, whether or not the team is going to be able to really play up to where they need to be to kind of pay off the checks that Pew's mouth is writing, it's going to take some time to actually see that, because he's writing some big checks with his mouth. He's talking some serious trash to the other captains out there and whatnot, and he's expecting his team to do very, very well. And I will say that this team has been scrimming a lot. They've been practicing a lot, and they want to make it to Thailand. So I think they definitely have the potential to do so. The one thing that I am perhaps a little bit worried about is that they do have 2 very farm-intensive players between Nox and Keizu. If teams like Lions Esports or Stay Green in their full capacity are going to be able to take advantage of that and actually shut down those hard farmers nice and early, I think that Excellent might have a little bit of a suffer time.
That is interesting about Nox. I'll let Milkfat go first about Team Excellent.
Yeah, kind of what I was saying with NK about having proven veterans there is that you kind of look at this roster too and almost say the same thing. Nox and Pew, not as much. But Zergo, I've seen Zergo at the last 2 DreamHacks. We got Keizu. I've seen Keizu all around the world. I mean, he's been on a winning / top team the past, year and a half?
Yeah.
The dude knows what it takes to get to lands. He knows what to do once he gets there. He knows how to compete in high-stress situations. You have Sender. Sender's one of those dudes, man, that he doesn't have a team a week before, but then all of a sudden he's at a goddamn land, and you don't even know what team he's on or how he even got there. But the dude always steps up. The dude's always there. The dude's always consistent. And he's one of those guys too that has a calm, collective nature. He knows how to play under pressure. He knows how to, really step up when the time's needed. It's what worries me is, whether or not Pew is going to be able to step up and really just lead the team and do what it needs to take. I think that he needs, if he really wants to win this, if he really wants to go all the way, he needs to take a step back. He kind of needs to do what Kyle did. You look at Kyle 2 years ago. Kyle would run his mouth. Kyle would, talk shit. Kyle would post on forums and try to start stuff. But when he started Stay Green, when he started his project, he shut up. He didn't make appearances. He didn't talk shit. He lost LAN after LAN after LAN. I mean, I remember he had been to so many LANs before he even made it to out of the group stage. This guy really put in his work, and he shut up until he proved that he talked shit. He got the results first, and then he was able to become that person. And then you look at Pew, who is trying to be that guy, but he has nothing to back it up. And I like Pew. I think that Pew has the spirit, as much as a front that he puts on. I think that he really is dedicated and he really does care. But I think that in order for this team to succeed, in order for Team Excellent to become that 2 team that goes to that is competing in the grand finals in these playoffs, I think that he needs to stop trolling. I think that he needs to stop trying to be a dick. Think he needs to stop causing controversy, and he needs to start watching replays. He needs to start thinking about strategies. He needs to start working with his team. He needs to start scrimming. Not saying that they aren't, but that's what it's going to take, is that he has the potential. He has the power. He's proven it time and time again. How many times is his team going to disband, and then he's going to show up with however many people, and then all of a sudden be relevant again? The guy obviously knows what he's doing, but he needs to put his hubris aside, and he needs to be the person that his team needs him to be. And if he can do that, I can see them being a top team.
I hope he does do that. I really do. And I mean, he actually just made a forum post a little while ago saying, "I'm sorry, Swindle," like apologizing. And I mean, he says he's going to try to be a new person. Of course, talking about that on the Panty Show, that you can consider that a troll. It's really hard to distinguish Pew from Troll Pew. Because they overlap in so many ways. But I think exactly what you said, Sam. If he can step back and just actually focus, they, by all means, have a real chance to go far with this team.
Yeah. That is a very good point to bring up about Pew specific. I mean, when it comes to, he clearly is doing something right. I mean, he has been a part of this Team Excellent team since the very beginning, where in Season 1, obviously, had a strong run later on, and then here in Season 2, it's always been a very important factor as far as being in the top of the standings and whatnot. But I definitely agree with what you're saying, Moke. I mean, you talk about comparisons, him and Swindlemelons. You see what Swindlemelons did? He shut up all of a sudden. All of a sudden, Stay Green started becoming top team and the top team. And then maybe some talking after that. But, right now, Pew's definitely at that stage of doing a lot of talking, not the most backing up. But we'll see. Obviously, they're on a high right now, but we've seen this before. Will that continue, or will it go back down and go up and down and go up and down as it has in the past? So, Ace, anything you want to add to?
Yeah, they've obviously got some momentum going into actually right now in the season. I'm in contact with Pew a little bit. I give him some support when he's doing a stream, give him some codes, and he's a player that is dedicated, but it seems like right now he's got the building blocks to have an awesome team, and it's whether or not he can create that glue as a captain and stick it together and make it stand. So depending on that I think is what rides of whether or not Team Excellent can be that top tier team and make it to the grand finals or not. So I love watching him play, but at the same time, again, a lot relying on the captain. We've seen how important captains are on the team, and I don't know.
Well, with that said, I mean, that kind of transition. Okay, so now into this weekend, we got Cycle number 9. Like I said, they're in the winter bracket finals. They just got finished defeating State Green. Sure, State Green was using a ringer, but still an impressive victory. They actually defeated Team NK after that, 2-0. So, we're talking about Team NK, their star power that they have now with the new team, and, they took them out 2-0. So, I think this weekend is going to be, again, kind of a great insight into what Team Excellent is going to be about, because you talk about them being in a very good spot to really make some big plays and make some statements here. They have Lion Esports Club, and then depending on how they do there, we'll see what goes on. But I think this week is definitely going to maybe answer some questions. But in the end, I mean, they are going to be in the playoffs. It's just a matter of, are they going to be that 2-3 seed, or I guess 3 seed, or are they going to be, somewhere in the middle when it comes down to it? So, with on top of that now, talking about cycle number 9, like I said, we got these 6 teams remaining. I got the brackets up on screen for the community here. So we're going to get close to wrapping up here on the podcast. But before we do, I want to get our predictions here. What do you guys think is going to happen? Do you guys think Team Excellent is going to surprise everyone and kind of go all the way? You think it's going to be Stay Green again? Is Lion Esports Club going to take it? What's the deal? Beef? I'll throw it to you first. What are your thoughts on cycle 9 finish here?
Oh, man. This is a difficult one. This is a really, really difficult one. Like, Lions Esports Club, of course, they've been looking really strong. I think they're going to be able to take out Team Excellent. I think Excellent actually has a chance to take a game off of them, but I see Lions coming out on top here.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm a little bit interested about is going to be Stay Green making their way for the losers bracket. And I believe they're actually going to have to, reschedule a match or two because they're not going to be here on Saturday. Something along...
they're going to be here just a little bit late. Unfortunately, Zach and Kyle have a funeral to attend, and so I think the games are going to be postponed about an hour, but it'll still work out.
Okay, so I was thinking that they were going to have to play 3 games on Saturday, but I guess that's probably not going to be what's going on here, and it's going to be really interesting. I think that SG is highly motivated to get good again, but at the same time, they're in this position right now where they've got that trip to Thailand pretty much locked up. They're essentially playing with just money right now. There's no real other motivation to try to take first other than the desire to win everything. But I could definitely
say desire, it's $5,000, man.
Well, yes, but I mean,
it's good money on the line.
There's still a little bit less motivation than they would normally have.
Yeah.
A little bit less. And that's something you got to take into consideration when the fact that they're 50-50 with Lions over the last 6 cycles. A little bit less motivation, 2 less scrims in that week might mean that they're not able to take down Lions like they have been. So it's going to be a really good one. I think I've got Stay Green still coming out on top. I'm going to say 3-2 in the grand finals over Lions. Excellent will finish 3rd, NK 4th.
All right, so good grand finals there. Milk Fat, what are your thoughts on this finish?
Kind of like what Beef was talking about in terms of what Stay Green has to go through. It looks like, so they've got to beat Denial. And then after Denial, they got to play the winner of Reason Gaming and NK. After that, they have to play the loser of Excellent and Lions, and then they have to play the winner. I mean, that's a tough road. You're playing against 4 of the strongest teams in Han besides yourself right now. There's a lot of opportunities to have a bad series. But on top of that, you look at, we were just talking about how Denial Esports and Reason Gaming are all in contention of, that top spot. And Lions didn't drop a single game. They are 6-0 so far in the cycle. They've looked strong. Games haven't been even very close. I mean, it's been a very dominant Lions cycle so far. I've got Lions Esports taking the cycle over Team Excellent. Stay Green getting 3rd.
There you go. Ace, what are your predictions?
I mean, those are my predictions. I was going to say the exact same thing. Not the exact same thing, but I was going to say that game, Lions versus We Fight Tupac, or for Tupac, that was a close one, but I'm just kidding. No, I think Lions are going to take the match over Excellent, being the finals. I feel like Excellent will fight its way back and get 3rd against Stay Green. And Stay Green, I feel like they're never out. I mean, Beef, even if they already have that cinched first, that's never enough. I feel like they just win no matter what. Even if you already cinched first in the cycle or in the whole entire season, I feel like Swindle Melons will never just let that ride off. It's get first in every cycle, get as much, not only win as much money as we can, but show that we are the team that is dominant in this Han competitive scene.
I agree that Swindle won't, but it's also a 5-man team. Are the others going to be as motivated to sit there and grind out scrims?
If Swindle's motivated, the other people will be motivated just by pure association.
We'll see.
I
stay with you. I'm still saying Stay Green's going to win it, but we'll see.
And it's not just that. I mean, Kyle's been talking to me about having, while these playoffs are going off, having some sort of other event or having something going on in March, because I don't see them not practicing. There's no way that they're going to head to the largest prize pool in Heroes of New Earth history, which is $150,000. They're not going to go into that not like, oh, we've already cinched our spot. Hell no. They're going to try every goddamn day. And it's just, overall, I think that this might not be their cycle, but that's not to say that they're going to just all of a sudden give up because they've cinched it.
It's hard to go against Stay Green. I mean, I know they are coming off the loss in the winners bracket, obviously, last weekend, but yeah, it's kind of the talking points that you're going through here. I still think that motivation is there in the end, so I do think Stay Green's going to get back to, as much as I maybe hate to say it, a rematch yet again of Alliance Sports Club in the grand finals.
Yeah. I mean, how many times has Stay Green come from the losers bracket and won the cycle?
They've done it, I think, twice.
Twice, right?
Yeah, I think they've done it twice.
Are they the only team that's done it?
Lions did.
Okay.
Lions did it once too, but yeah, that's actually another point. I mean, they've been here before. It's not like, we're talking about, yes, it's going to be a tough run, as you're pointing out. They got to face Denial, then the winner of Reason TMSR, and then maybe Team Excellent, and then Lions to come to the grand finals, whatever, but they've done it before, as we're just talking about. So I do think Stay Green is going to kind of go on that run once again and take cycle number 9 here. We'll see, though. Cycle number 9, resuming this weekend at 12 p.m. Eastern, 1800 Central European Time, as always, on Saturday. Don't want to miss that. All right, I believe that pretty much wraps it up, though, as far as we wanted to cover here on the podcast. Definitely had plenty to talk about. We got through it. The 2013 awards, obviously. A lot to talk about there. Honcast.com, guys. If you go to the website yourself, you can actually check out the articles that were just put up, both Part 1 and 2, as far as all those awards. So if you missed any of the announcements on that, all the winners for the 18 awards, I believe there was, and kind of quotes from them and whatnot. So big
Part
shout
3
out
will
to
be up tonight as well. With
Okay.
MVP and Team of the Year. Fantasy's working on something a little bit more special for that one.
There you go. Looking forward to that. Big shout out to Fantasy with that said, and as well as you, Beef, putting this together.
Fantasy does work.
So with that said, I want to go around now. Okay.
Real quick, I just want to point out kind of one of the coolest things about Haunt Tour is the type of stories that it can create and the thrill of being able to move up and down. And one of the teams that I've been kind of watching, they've gone through, 10 events now, and they've participated a lot. And they're now entering the Gold Grand Finals, and that's Tang Zhang Pang. And, they're automatically qualified for Diamond next cycle, and they've never been there before. You got to love one of their players. His name is Swindle Melons, and one of their other players is XX Pub Train XX. So you can tell, that these guys are what? Oh shit! They're getting banned.
What?
Well, this guy is. Do not go to their team profile page, Breaky. On stream.
I'm not. Maybe we should have done a little more research on these guys before.
Well, I mean, this guy's.
Now I have to go look.
Everyone's gonna overload.
Image on his Haunt Tour thing is a vagina.
And I think that's a good way to wrap things up here. To wrap things up here. Oh my God. Ace, we'll start with you. Any shout outs you want to make? Wrapping things up here.
I mean, yeah, shout out to everybody that won an award. Deserved it beyond beliefs, including the Stay Green Best Team. Let's see who else we got. Lions, KGE, Holla. I don't know. You guys all want me? Wrapping things up. Thought I'd play a pun off that. Nah. I'm gonna keep the wrap low key today, but it'll come back eventually. Who knows? But thanks for having me on the show. Keep it up. We got a lot of community things going on in the next upcoming 2 weeks. We got a cool set of avatars coming out. I know that's not what you guys want to hear, but we'll do some cool stuff with that. Got a community creative continuum going on right now where you guys can create whatever patch notes you guys want, and they're going to get the winners are going to be shown to the balance team, going to be shown to depending on what you create in it. There's going to be some content in there, there's going to be some balance in there, there's going to be some design in there, all going to get shown to the appropriate places, and pretty much get your opinions in front of S2 and the design team and the people that make Han. So participate in that. You can go to the forums, check that out. Just a bunch of other cool stuff. Stay tuned with the forums. I try and be on there as much as possible. If you ever need to contact me, let me know. Hit me up on my PMs, and that's about it. You guys rock.
Junior, thanks for joining us, man. Milk Fat, any shout-outs you want to make? Final words?
Shout out to Runka Bajaz.
Is that it? Really? That's how you're going to finish?
No, congratulations to all of the winners. Very well deserved. It's awesome doing the end of the year. Another really good year for Heroes of Newerth. We had a lot of lands. We had a lot of great stories. Sorry, I'm just still like.
I feel you, Sam.
Yeah, no,
you.
it was a very good year. It was nice to really see this Han Tour this season come to a close. There was a lot of controversy in the beginning about replacing the prizing in the beginning divisions with gold coins and kind of making it more top heavy. I think that this Han Tour season has been successful so far. We've seen a lot of cool storylines. We've seen a lot of good games. I mean, we've had this season going on since October, November. I mean, it's been going on for a long time. We've watched a lot of storylines, and the most important thing is we're watching it all conclude. And we're heading to Thailand. Biggest prize pool in Heroes of Newerth history. We've been around for 4 years. People keep saying, Han dead game, Han dead game. This is the biggest tournament that we've ever had in the history of Heroes of Newerth, you guys. Han Tour Season 2, every single region. We got Latin America, we got CIS, we got Southeast Asia. All of these regions are hosting their own individual Han Tours that we're doing right now. They're all getting the same storylines. They're all getting the same personalities. They're all getting the same champions that we have representing us in NAU, representing them heading to Thailand. And it's going to be crazy to watch all these guys compete, especially the teams from Southeast Asia. I've been watching them a lot lately, especially because this upcoming weekend we're going to find out who the last team is.
Yeah.
They're improving. They're getting good. And I think that, as confident as everybody is going into this, we have a damn good grand finals coming up with the teams from Southeast Asia. We're going to be surprised. We're going to see another good team from CIS. Latin America, their wild card factor. Who even knows what's going to happen from Latin America? Tail 69. Do you guys remember that guy? He freaking surprised. If it wasn't for that Brazilian team, at DreamHack, then another team would have advanced. I mean, there's so many things that could happen. And so thank you guys for sticking around for 2013. It was a very good year for us. I see you guys talking about Han Tour Season 3. We'll talk about it after Han Tour Season 2. Let's wrap this up. Let's get everything going strong. Let's get ready for another good year for Heroes of Newerth, because the game is not dead. We still have a large amount of players playing. We just launched into China, and the Chinese people are loving it. I mean, everything's going well. We're expanding. Our numbers are growing every single month. And I know that it hasn't been growing as much, and that a lot of people in NAU have been disappointed. But thank you for sticking by this game. It's a damn good game. It's a lot of fun. And just know that as all the other regions join, as China gets bigger, as Southeast Asia gets bigger, that's more people playing Heroes of Newerth. That's more international events that we at NAU get to compete in. If China gets big and they start having big events, guess what? We're going to be sending teams there because we're the best right now. NAU is the best. They could have as many damn players as they want. We got the best players in the world, and that's what matters to me. So once again, thank you guys. Awesome year. Looking forward to 2014. Really looking forward to the Han Tour Grand Finals. And these playoffs are going to be badass.
Yeah.
Like this format, the amount of games that we're going to get, the amount of things that we have going on, and we even have a couple more surprises planned for you guys over the next couple months before we head into the playoffs. So once again, I've said it a million times. Thank you, Honcast subscribers, Honcast fans, everybody that's always tuning in, and people that have been sticking by the game. So thanks.
Thank you. Well said. Well said. All right, Beef. Any final words from yourself?
Oh man! First and foremost, I just want to thank everybody for watching. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to the guys over there in Southeast Asia and the CIS. Of course, make sure to tune in all this month long as they're going to be going into their grand finals. I think CIS is going to be having like their Turkish grand finals that's going to be going on. That's going to be sick to watch. The SEA ones, there's a few teams down there still completing in their playoffs. I think those start 6 days from now, something like that. Like, you'll of course be able to find more information on that on Honcast.com. Big shout out to everybody that was involved in putting together the playoffs and the announcements and infographics and all that stuff. So Breaky, Sam, Inkland Fantasy, you guys are all awesome. A huge shout out to my team, Complexity Gaming, and all of our awesome sponsors: Sound Blaster, Newegg Creative, Twitch, Leet Gaming, DX Racer, and Scuff Gaming. Those guys are doing work over there. Love working with them. And shout out to my boys over in Mad Plops. High five to Pablo McDad. He wanted a high five, so there you go, Pablo. Bro fist through the internet.
I didn't even get to do shout outs. Sorry.
Shout out to Sam and for getting to do shout outs. That's about it for me. Follow me on Twitter, Cole_beef. That's it.
Yeah, let me do my shout outs, Breaky.
All right, you can do your shout outs.
All right, cool. I'm also on Twitter, S2MilkFat. I don't use it very often, guys. Probably not at all. Like maybe once a week. Not even. Not even once a month I'll use it. But hey, I'm gonna start using it a little bit more. I'm trying. I've been posting a little bit more regularly. Shout out to My Nuts for being awesome. Shout out to Panman, most awesome guy ever, and who's going to be at the Han Tour World Finals doing production for us. What up? You guys are going to be happy about that. Panman owns.
Sick.
What else do we got? Shout out to Ace Jr. for being
a stank face cipher.
being cool.
All day.
And shout out to my friend Jessica. And that's about it.
Dang, who's Jessica?
Dang.
You know,
All right.
super hot fangirl.
Shout out to you guys as always for tuning in. Definitely just to read a little bit of what Sam said. 2013 was most certainly a great year for Heroes of New Earth. 2014, here's to that. It's going to be another great year, I'm sure. We're going to have a great finish to Season 2. We'll see what the future holds. Big shout out to the 44 million views that we just passed on Honcast as well.
Woo!
So we just passed that
dang.
number. So 44 million views over, the 3 years that I think it's been a Twitch channel. So definitely fun numbers to see there, and more proof that you guys love what we do. So we love you guys as well. With that said, going to be wrapping up, obviously, for today. Tomorrow, though, like I said, come tomorrow. Cycle number 9. Going to be wrapping up this weekend on Saturday, starting on Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern, 1800 Central European Time is where things are going to kick off. You do not want to miss that.
Hey, Breaky, I'm
Right.
just saying right now that if Ace doesn't rap, I'm rioting, man. I'm out of here.
It seems like people are trying to riot.
This is gonna be the last podcast that I do.
It could be.
If
I
Ace
mean,
doesn't rap.
it's on Ace. It's on Ace.
I mean, sure, I'll rap. I don't know. What do you guys want me to rap about? This is like,
Rap about Han Tour Season 2.
Yeah, rap about Hunter.
jeez, it gave me some easy topics. Thanks, guys.
Rap about being a community manager.
Don't
Alright.
rap about that.
This is all.
Alright, I'll give you- I'll give you-
face cipher.
Hey,
Everybody
no.
loves stink
Ace,
face.
Ace, this is what we're gonna do, okay? We're gonna have some fun, all right? So I'm gonna give you something random from Heroes of New Earth, and you're just gonna rap about it. And
Alright.
then randomly, when you're throughout it, I'm just gonna throw something else out.
I like that.
And so you're just gonna keep going off of what I give you.
All right, cool. No beat is acapella.
Breaky, can you toss a beat for us? You think?
You won't be able to hear it, but
Breaky tosses beats like no other.
Breaky, can we get you to beatbox?
I typed in a rap beat. Here, I got this one song.
Rap beat. Nice.
Good beat so far.
Yeah.
Well, again, you can't hear it. Like, what do you want me to do? Hold on. Maybe I can make it so you guys
I
can hear
mean,
it.
link it to Adam, and then you guys could both listen to it at the same exact time.
This
Okay.
is gonna work out really well.
Or just go. Just give me stuff.
There's the link that I got.
There we go.
All right, let's try to start at the same. You should have it, Adam. Open it up. We'll start at the same time.
All right, the same exact time. This
Same
is perfect.
exact
Jesus
time.
Christ.
All right, you ready?
Press
Uh,
play.
wait.
Open it up and press play while
All right.
I go.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Ready?
Let's
Hold on. Well, I'll do a countdown. Hold on. So
Yeah,
3, 2,
count it
1,
down.
go. On go.
all right, let's start off with some Super KGE.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right. I'm waiting for that beat to kick. Oh, there it is. Give me 1 sec. Alright. It's the Super KGE. Yeah, he's the duper. I know he be the best. I don't know, hooker in the game. I know he ain't a looker, but he is, so remember the name. This is bad rhymes. I don't know what I'm doing, so I get the mad rhymes. So I gotta get it on time. Give me something else. Gotta keep going with the Lions, but I'm always be Ryan. This is my alliance, not the esports. So we doing this, and you know I got the report. Catch me on community, but we looking for everything. It's unity. Bring it together. Everybody wants it better, but right now I have to write you a letter. Yeah, regurgitate your brain, McHuggins. I don't care what you're saying. I know you'll be loving it, cause I'm shoving it right down your face. Doesn't matter right here, cause you know it's ace. I got a big mace, and I swing it around, and I do it all day, all over town. So if you got it, put on the crown, cause I'm the king and I'm wearing all the rings and the Hauntor. Dream hacked at one time, I don't even care, I'm back with a sick rhyme. And you know I gotta get it on, cause I don't even know what I'm saying, dude. I'm not even saying anything.
Well, yeah, I was tossing you Artesia. Yeah. You straight up ignored me, man.
Give me some Artesia. Yeah, you want Artesia?
Yeah, I want
Artesia.
Artesia. F that crap. I'm done. This is it. Later. This beat's weird. I don't know if you guys are listening to this.
We are.
Shady stuff.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be wrapping up here on Honcast. Thank you as always for tuning in. Love you all. We'll see you tomorrow. Psycho number 9 continues. You do not want to miss it. It's going to be a great finish. And then only one more cycle remains after that until the playoffs. Tune in to Honcast.com. With that said, we're out for the night. Peace. Take it easy. Have a good night, guys. Bye.